On the surface, a robot named Fight looks like the typical Metroidvania love letter that, let's be honest, we all kind of appreciate when they come around. But instead, a robot named Fight takes the aesthetic and gameplay of a Metroidvania game and instead throws the structure and strings of something like The Binding of Isaac, and the result is what they call a Metroidvania roguelite that is equal parts charming in the beginning but can grow pretty tiresome and frustrating the longer you play it. So in A Robot Named Fight, as you can see probably from this gameplay alone, it looks and plays and feels a lot like something like Metroid. The thing is as you go and you pick up new weapons and items, you get closer and closer to the Mega Beast. The thing is if you die, you lose absolutely everything and you start all over again. To make it sort of feel a little more fresh each time, it is randomly generated, which means you will find the items randomly in different places in different layouts of the world each time. Overall there are over 100 items to collect, and as you complete challenges or achievements, you will unlock more items that can be then found in the world. Now there are a ton of tiny little parts to find these items in the world, through walls that you can break, through the ceiling, stuff like that, and that sort of helps the exploration and the fun of experimenting with things. But the core gameplay just doesn't exactly feel as enjoyable or give you the sense of wanting to return to it. I played through it a fair few times, got a little bit further, got pretty far a few times, and I heard the whole run of the game will take around about an hour, and to get so far and then die and sort of have to restart all over again, which is fine in other games. It's actually some of the best things of games like Binding of Isaac. Here I think maybe because it feels so much like something like Metroid, I kind of wish there was a more standard structure to it, like the classic, like you have different worlds to explore and you carry all your upgrades with you, something like maybe Axiom Verge or something like that. But actually, thankfully, I have to give it to this game that it does offer something different. It doesn't just throw another Metroid look-alike, play-alike game at you, and instead takes a different approach, something that you are familiar with. And I'm not, I wouldn't say I wouldn't recommend this game. I just think that you need to go into it with that frame of mind. Some of the things about it though is some of the finer feeling of the controls kind of put me off, and I think that's the main reason why I eventually kind of didn't feel like investing more and more into. You could probably play this hundreds of playthroughs before you get to the end, because sometimes you get a bad seed or randomly generated levels and you just feel like everything is against you and you don't pick up any good items or weapons, and that can frustrate, but that's the luck of the draw, I suppose. But I think if the gameplay was tightened up a bit, there was a few times where there was a bunch of enemies off a ledge down to the left or the right, and I just couldn't exactly get the angle on it right. It didn't feel perfect, it didn't feel great, and ultimately it was a bit frustrating. And on top of that, some of the enemies can be pretty relentless, or you can be thrown in a room with so many of them that you're bound to take some damage, and like I said, once you die you're out. And if you mix both the controls with these unfortunate situations, it can just frustrate beyond, I guess, repair. But so the Robot Named Fight is one of those games that look like one type of game on the surface but have a lot more underneath. It's just the extra bits that's underneath may not be for everyone.